Greetings and welcome, friends. Mr. Waddy and my buddy Algebraticians here. They've got their packets. We're going through this. Today, we were talking about solving multi-step equations. And here they say to solve a multi-step equation, meaning there was more than one operation that was going on, we are going to simplify each side of the equation, if necessary. All right, that might be combining like terms, which me and my buddies just practiced with my other buddy, Sal Khan, khanacademy.org, and then use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So let me ask you this question first. All right, here we go. I asked us to list the order of operations occurring to x. So here's x. What's happening to x? All right, x wakes up, gets out of bed. Step one, is it being subtracted by 7 or added or multiplied by 4 first? Which happens first to it, according to PEMDAS? Which happens first, multiplication or subtraction? Multiplication, right? It's being multiplied by 4. Okay. And then the next thing that happens to it, after it was multiplied by 4, it was being subtracted by 7. Now, I'm going to have a recommended process, right? I'm going to recommend that we do the reverse order of these using the opposite or inverse operation, okay? So when I'm solving an equation, I like to think about it like, imagine someone made this equation like they were assembling something, and now I'm disassembling it. Imagine someone made this bomb, and now I'm disassembling this bomb, and I have to disassemble it in the reverse order than they did. I have to, instead of screwing a screw clockwise, I have to screw it counterclockwise now, right? And I have to do it in the opposite steps that they did. So instead of PEMDAS when solving, I'm going to SADMEP. Right? Did you guys know that trick? So for SADMEPing, my step one is going to be their last step. All right? They subtracted by 7, and what's the inverse of subtracting by 7? The opposite of subtracting 7. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Right? I'm SADMEPing. I'm dealing with subtraction and addition before I deal with division and multiplication. And after I undo this, now I'm going to keep following their process backwards, right? I'm just doing this backwards and with the opposite operation. So my step 2 is the opposite of their step 1. What's the opposite of multiplying by 4? Yeah, dividing by 4. Okay? So when I solve, I do it in the reverse order using the inverse operation. Addition instead of subtraction, division instead of multiplication. All right, so let's see how we do this. All right, so when I do this, 4x minus 7 equals 17, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. That is a legal permissible move. That is called, right, not subtraction, that's the addition property of equality. So you guys write this down. Addition prop equal. Right? And thinking about it this way is definitely going to help us out. There's multiple ways of solving algebra problems, but we want to choose the easy way. So I've got 4x minus 7. I add 7 to both sides. I'd be left with 4x equals 17 plus 7 is 24. I just did my step 1, right? I added 7 to both sides. Now, I want to divide both sides by 4. And right, dividing by 4 is in fact going to be helpful. X was being multiplied by 4. Div 4, both sides. What property allows me to do that? The division property of equality. Div prop equals is why I can do that. And I'm left with x equals 24 divided by 4 is 6. Okay? So originally, if I just plugged in a number, I would have followed PEMDAS, but I am SADMEPing with inverse operations is what I am doing. All right, so let's look at example point 2. All right, here we go. They also told us that we should simplify first. Now, I'm not going to write out this SAD map sequence every time. We're just going to kind of like think about it and be aware. All right. So here we go. These ones, the first thing I'm going to want to do is actually let's ask the audience. All right. First thing I want to do, should I add to both sides, subtract, multiply, divide, move a variable to the other side, distribute, or combine like terms? Here's example point 2. All right, I've got 3x plus 2x equals 25. What are your guys' thoughts? Now, I've given my students no training on this. You guys can answer your poll on your poll everywhere. All right. Right, so let's see. I don't know if people have been answering the polls. Let's see what the results are. No one answered the poll. Guys, you're the studio audience. What do you think? I don't want to move my x's to the other side, but is there a way I could simplify that? Because I've got like terms here. So I should simplify first. For those of you who just joined us, you can open up your Chromebooks, go to pollev.com/BrianWadi885. Let's see, divide both sides, I'm hearing is a possible response, right? Because x is being multiplied by 3, but wait a minute, this x is being multiplied by 2. This one's tricky. It turns out the first thing I'm going to want to do is simplify, combining like terms, which we just practiced with Khan. So simplifying 3x plus 2x is how many x's, friends? 3x's plus 2x's is 5x equals 25. And now that I've simplified, right, if I clear my poll, what do you guys think? Clear the results. What do you guys think? What do I do to both sides to get x by itself? Let's see, we've got to vote. Divide, 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 right? Everybody's saying divide. I want to make it so that this shows numbers rather than percents, but that's okay. So we are going to divide both sides by 5. That is the division property of equality, right? And I'm going to get x equals 5. Done. I found the variable. I got it by itself. All right. How about this next one? Negative 4x plus x equals negative 12. Let's clear the results. What do you guys think we should do first? All right. What do you guys think? You guys think? Let's see. Oh, we're getting multiple responses here. Now, according to El Libro, they said the first thing we should do is simplify each side of the equation if necessary. So for us, I've got some stuff on this side that can be simplified. I've got some like terms. So negative 4x plus, how many x's are this? There's an invisible 1 there. Plus 1x is going to be negative 3x. Oh, man. My color schemes got messed up. So I'll have negative 3x equals negative 12. All right. So probably going to add to both sides next. Let's clear the poll. Let's see what we get. Clear it. What do you guys think? Should I add, subtract, multiply, divide? How do I get rid of this negative 3? Yeah, let's see. Ready for some results? I'm hearing add to both sides. I'm hearing multiply to both sides. Ooh. Let me ask this question. What operation is happening between the x and that 3? Multiplication. It's being multiplied by negative 3. Does anyone want to change their results? How do I undo multiplication? Undo multiplication. Yes. We're going to divide both sides by negative 3. All right. Divide both sides by negative 3. The minus signs cancel out. The 3's cancel out. I'll get x by itself. Negative over negative is positive, and I get x equals 4. All right. So those ones are ones where sometimes you're going to have to simplify by combining like terms. Let's take a look at the book's first example here. And they're already throwing decimals at us, but don't let it scare you. Don't you fret. Let's clear our results. All right, and ask the question. So I've got 2.5x minus 13 equals 2. What do I have to do to get x by itself? What's the easiest way? What operation should I do to both sides? I see a couple operations happening. I see multiplication and I see subtraction. Let's see. So multiplication and subtraction. So I'm going to use inverse operations, but remember, I'm doing them in the reverse order, right? I want a SAD map. SAD map. Right, Pooja? So for SAD map, I'm going to deal with subtraction and addition first. So I actually want to target this negative 13 first. And let's see, in order to deal with that, wow, got quite the disagreement here, but the minority one, we're going to add to both sides first. All right, if I add 13 to both sides, this is going to be much easier. Let me show you what happens here. If I did it the other way, 2.5x minus 13 equals 2. Here, Devin, come on. Don't be a nuisance now. If I divided both sides by 2.5, I would have created all sorts of fractions for myself. Oh, man. I would have had x minus whatever 13 over 2.5 is equals 2 over 2. Oh, my goodness. Right? That's just going to get trudging through the muck and the mire. No, thank you. All right, so I legally can do that. I just don't want to. All right, I just don't want to. So I'm going to have 2.5x equals 12. 2 plus 13 is 15. Now, question, my friends, what operation do I do to both sides over here? 2.5x equals 15. How do I get x by itself? Let's see, we're getting some results are coming in. Here, Ethan, you can shut off that video. All right. There's no discrepancy here. We are multiplying by 2.5, and the inverse operation is divide both sides by 2.5. All right. And you could perhaps grab a calculator for that. 15 divided by 2.5, 6, I believe, is the result. They asked us to check our solution. Tell you what, let's do a check. All right, so for a check, I literally, this is when I do follow PEMDAS. So I'd have 2.5 times 6 minus 13. Is that equal to 2? Question mark. 2.5 times 6, 15, minus 13. Is that equal to 2? 2 equals 2. Cha-cha-ching, we found the answer. And I think this is probably a problem that you wouldn't have been able to just like guess the answer off the bat. All right, these problems are starting to increase in complexity where you wouldn't be able to just figure them out on your first try. Oh, here we go. Example 2, friends. Example dos. Pick it up a notch. We're going to spend a couple days on this lesson, by the way, so this is part 1. All right. Oh, my goodness. So I've got negative 12. Watch your equal sign. 9x minus 6x plus 15. So this one's tricky. Let's clear the polls. I'll hide the results. So the question is, am I adding to both sides, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, moving a variable to the other side, distributing, or combining like terms? We're going to see distribution tomorrow. So I will tell you that that is not a possible solution. Let's see, Devin, did you pick a result yet? What do you think? What should I do to both sides? Yeah, what's the first thing I should do to both sides here? There's arguably multiple approaches, but I'm going to be trying to teach you guys like the way that's going to be simplest and surefire to get you there every time. Let's see what the audience is saying. We've got some disagreement. I heard add to both sides, subtract from both sides, multiply to both sides. I would argue none of those are the easiest first step. I'm going to combine some like terms first. Yeah, I had combine like terms was G. Now, if you said subtract from both sides, That's pretty good. You can do that and you'd still be helping yourself out. That's going to be the next thing I'll do. And I wouldn't mark you wrong on a test for saying that. Right. Yeah. Subtract from both sides is a legal move. That would have worked, subtracting 15 from both sides. But let's see, 9x minus 6x is how many x's? No. 9 minus 6 is 3. It's 3 x's plus 15. Question, are these like terms? No, because this is x's and this is not x's. That's apples and oranges, friends. We can't combine those. So now that I've got this, I've simplified everything. I've got two operations taking place. You're right, Devin. You can pivot your Chromebook just a little bit, Devin. Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see. So I've got multiplication and addition happening here. Let's clear the results. Now, what do you guys think I should do? Yeah, multiplication and addition. I want to use inverse operations, and I want to do them in the reverse order. All right, I'm seeing subtract or divide. And I like both of those options. I'm going to say subtract is the better one in general, because we're sad mapping. And I want to subtract before I divide. Okay? Let's see what happens. And then I'll actually show you the divide first way, and I'll show you that it actually works out okay this time. Negative 12 minus 15 is becoming more negative. That's negative 27 equals 3x. And now, Devin, come on, friend, you're getting distracted. Divide both sides by 3. No. And you should be writing this down as well. Just entering it in on the Chromebook isn't helpful. And let's see, negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9 equals x. But tell you what, Yoda, let's flip that around. X equals negative 9 is a better way to communicate about it. So x equals negative 9, final answer. Now, once I was here, let me actually show you alternate universe here. Let's say the division people won. Negative 12 equals 3x plus 15. In this case, division is okay. Technically, it's always would have been okay. It just isn't always helpful. If I divide both sides by 3, that means everybody gets divided by 3. And normally that creates ugly fractions for me, but notice what happens. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. 3x divided by 3 is x. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. And because all of these numbers ended up being divisible by 3, it actually didn't make things that bad. It's completely okay. And how would you solve this for x? How do I get x by itself in this case? I would subtract 5 from both sides, and I do in fact get the same answer. Okay, so in this case, you could have chosen to divide both sides first, and because everything's divisible by 3, you didn't have to deal with the fractions, and it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay? So let's see. For the remaining part of class, I'm going to keep this going, and we'll pick it up with our internet friends periodically. Let's have you guys try these 3 problems. These are the monitoring progress questions. They're right after example 2, and I'm going to go over these as well. So see if you can figure out what inverse operation to do next. Devin, I'm going to take that away, friend. And see if you can write your work. So I'll keep the internet rolling. I'll be back in a moment. You can try this at home, internet friends. All right, internet friends, let's see. So, two operations for this first one. I'll just catch up to where my friends are. They said subtract both sides by 3. Now, I want to point out, if you tried to divide both sides by -2 here, oh, ow, ugh, gross, fractions, right? That would have been unfortunate. But we want a SAD map. I want to deal with addition before I do multiplication. And the inverse of adding 3 is subtracting 3. And then we had -2n, bring down my equal sign, keep it all lined up. Oh man, that's classy. And 9 minus 3 is 6. And then do I add 2 to both sides here? Right, -2 plus 2. No, that is a negative sign, not a subtraction sign, even though they look identical. It's being multiplied by -2, so I want to divide both sides by -2. Yeah. Yep. And those all cancel out. I'll get n equals -3 when all is said and done. All right, most people, I think, got the first step here real well. They said, okay, it's being multiplied by a half and subtracted by 11, the inverse. Let's deal with the subtraction first. Add 11 to both sides. And so this is -10 equals 1/2 c. Now, one of my friends in real life, they wrote this, and they are technically 100% right. But that's weird looking, right? Like, what does that mean to divide by a half? Ugh, I don't know. The easier way to think about this is to, instead of dividing by a fraction, the trick is you multiply by its reciprocal. Multiply by the flip of it. So multiply by 2 over 1. I could also just call 2 over 1 2. All right. And when that cancels out a lot nicer. All right. And it makes a little bit more sense. -10 times 2, I understand that's -20 equals C, or C equals -20. All right. Let's see. My friends in real life are still working on this problem 3. Hopefully they combined like terms first. So before I start moving things around, we want to bring our like terms together. So I'm going to have -2x and -10x. I didn't hear the question, just a second. So these two negatives combine to be something more negative, so that's -12x plus 12 equals 18. And now, between these operations, friends, I've got multiply. This does not mean subtract 12. That's multiply by -12, right? And so I've got multiplication and addition. Which one should I get rid of first? Assuming you mean the positive 12. Don't pack up yet. We still got mucho tiempo. So I'd subtract 12 from both sides. Question, comment? Yeah? I'll have to ask my buddies about that. I'll look into it. Yeah. And x is being multiplied by negative 12. So let's divide both sides by negative 12. Does anyone... Oh, guys, do you know how to simplify this fraction? It's going to be negative 1/3. This is what I'd ask is, what divides a half? How'd you get that? And yeah, 6 goes into 12 twice and into 6 once. So you can cancel out partially like that. And I get x equals negative 1/2. All right, thanks for watching, internet friends. Have a good day.